Kevin and Gwen are driving Ben back home, but Ben was asleep and started to wake by a clap of thunder, but doesn't seem to mind. He says that they should do something important before Kevin asks why he doesn't want to sleep. Gwen tells Kevin that he has been having nightmares. Ben insists that he is fine but wants at his house. He can't sleep but feels like something is following him while sleeping. Lightning goes through the electrical lines of Ben's house, and then suddenly Rad, the last of Agrigo's prisoners, shows up with attacks, forcing Ben to transform into Jetray and fight him. When Rad falls into a pool while charged up and shorts out, rendering him unconscious. Later, Ben, Gwen, Kevin take Rad to a solid, where they put him in a containment cell, and Rad tells Ben that it's fault that Agrigo recaptured his friends, the other four prisoners. Rad confirms that Agrigo is Asmosian like Kevin and tells Trio that with his combined powers of himself, the Valvin, Galapagos, and Pander and Andreas, Agrigo would be the strongest and most powerful being in the galaxy. Ben offers to have Rad work together with him to stop Agrigo. Rad seems to agree with the deal, but the moment Ben releases him, he attacked the trio, having and Kevin's reminded that if things got worse, he would hand over Rad to Agrigo. At the moment, the Ultimatrix detects and Rad's DNA and cataloged. Rad says that Agrigo uses Ultimatrix as a homing device to track the aliens. To prevent Agrigo from finding them, Rad tries to destroy Ultimatrix with the lightning blast, but it launches and scanning waves at the same time. The mixing energies cause an explosion that blasted the group against a wall. It damages the Ultimatrix, while Rad is mysteriously disappeared as Ben laments that thing can't get worse. Agrigo shows up by crashing through the roof to recapture Rad, while Ben tries to get the Ultimatrix working again. Kevin and Gwen try to fight Agrigo, but he proves to be too strong for them. The Ultimatrix eventually let Ben transformed, but unfortunately all that he could transform into is Amphibian. With no choice, they transform into Amphibian, which he names as Amphibian, and fights Agrigo. Unfortunately, he is too powerful and decides to use Amphibian as Rad's sleep. Gwen then casts an unnamed teleportation spell to transport herself, Ben, and Kevin away from Agrigo's to Kevin's warehouse. Agrigo returns to the ship to track their location with the Ultimatrix and signal. As Gwen recovers from her teleportation spell, Kevin reveals that he has rebuilt the machine they used to try to hack the Omnitrix. Beyond the tricks and vengeance of Vilgax, Part 1 to reboot the Ultimatrix and transform Amphibian back to normal. Although Gwen and Amphibian protest the idea, suddenly Amphibian begins hearing Bad's voice inside his head and begins acting like him. It turns out that the blast accidentally trapped Rad inside the Ultimatrix. He attacks Gwen and Kevin, refusing to allow the Ultimatrix to be reactivated because Agrigo would use it to find them. At the same time, he is slowly taking over Amphibian and should be succeed, Ben will be lost forever. While Gwen holds off Amphibian Rad inside of Monosphere, Kevin observes a rubber tie to enable him to get near Amphibian Rad and use jumper cables attached to the machine to reboot the Ultimatrix. This time the experiment is a success. Amphibian and Rad are separated. Kevin remains unmuted and Amphibian has transformed back into Ben. Unfortunately, with the Ultimatrix reset signal restored, Agrigo is free to find Rad, rejecting Ben to fight together. Rad quickly escapes. Agrigo crashes through the roof after blasting Kevin upside and knocking Gwen unconscious. Agrigo demands Amphibian from Ben. Ben transforms into Ben Stroma and tries to fight him. Agrigo, whose weapon is designed to counter electronic manipulative species, easily overpowered Brainstorm by absorbing his electric shocks with his spear and blasting his brain. With red energy outside, Kevin sees the red energy flashing inside the warehouse. Rad appears and also sees them. Kevin yells at him about letting the only person who wanted to help him die and tells him to run away like a coward, looking determined. Rad decides to save Ben in the warehouse. A severely injured Brainstorm collapses to the floor. Agrigo and tries to forcibly transform him back into Amphibian by using his weapon on Ultimatrix symbol, which nearly kills the Brainstorm in the process. However, Rad attacks Agrigo and saves Brainstorm. He then tells Gwen that he could not let Ben needlessly sacrifice himself for him. After Brainstorm transforms back into normal, Brad tells Gwen and weakened Ben to get out, while he clashes with Agrigo. Agrigo quickly overpowered by pinning him against a wall with red energy from his spear, but as he closes onto him, Rat grabs Agrigo's spear's electrocutes it, making it overload with power and causes a huge explosion which destroys Kevin's warehouse for the second time. But Ben, Gwen and Kevin manage to survive, where Agrigo escapes with Brad during the explosion. Now that Agrigor has found 5 of his prisoners, he is now able to resume transporting them to his home planet and carry out his plan by observing all of their powers and abilities. Kevin and Ben believe that all is over, but Ben tells them otherwise and vows to use the powers of his 5 new aliens to save the prisoners and stop Agrigor once for all.